Hey everyone, Emma AY from Cyberbrief here, and today we're going to explore one of the coolest aspects of network security, tiered architecture. This isn't just about keeping your network safe, it's about understanding how to build a digital fortress. So let's dive in. Think of your network like a shopping mall. You've got the public areas where everyone can wander, but then you've got the high security zones where only authorized personnel can go. We're going to use this mall analogy to understand how to protect our network from external threats. First, let's talk about the presentation tier. This is the part of your network where users interact, like when they're shopping at your online store. Here, we deal with application requests and responses. It's like the storefront where customers walk in, but we make sure it's not a direct path to your most valuable assets. For instance, your website might show products but shouldn't have direct access to financial data or customer details. Moving on to the application tier, this is where the real magic happens. It's like the back office of our mall, processing all the transactions, but it's not open to the public. This tier handles the logic and data processing for applications, ensuring that what's seen on the front end is managed securely behind the scenes. It's where your shopping cart system or inventory management software would live, processing orders without exposing how it's done. Then there's the data tier, the most protected part of your network. Imagine this as the bank vault in our mall where all the cash and precious items are stored. Here, we keep our most sensitive data, like customer information or proprietary business data, making sure it's as secure as possible with limited access. Only critical applications should directly interact with this tier, ensuring that if there's a breach elsewhere, your core data remains untouched. Now let's discuss segmentation with our bookstore example. Your bookstore's website is in the presentation tier, where customers can look at books but can't touch the inventory or financial records. This segmentation means if someone hacks into your website, they don't automatically get to your private data. It's like having separate departments in your bookstore, one for browsing, another for stock management, and a third for financials, all with different security levels. Segmentation involves creating different neighborhoods within your network, each with its own security protocol. As you move from the outer layers of your network towards the center, you increase security, trust, and decrease risk. It's like moving from the mall's parking lot to the executive offices. Each neighborhood can have its own rules, like how only certain employees can enter the accounting office. This approach is known as tiered architecture. It's like having different floors in a building, each with its own security measures. The idea is that if one floor is compromised, the whole building doesn't fall. That's what we call defense in depth, multiple layers of security that work together to protect your network. If your website gets hacked, the hacker shouldn't get access to your customer database or payroll system because they're on different, more secure floors. Let's label these tiers. Public tier, this is like the parking lot or the mall entrance, open to everyone but high risk. Here, trust is low because anything from the internet can potentially be harmful. Imagine it's where people can just walk in without any checks, like the public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop. Here, you might have your public-facing web server, but not anything critical. Semi-public, DMZ tier. This tier is like the mall's information center, where you have your web servers, email servers, or DNS servers. These systems face the public but should be hardened against attacks. It's assumed they might get compromised, so we bolster them with extra security. Think of it as the customer service desk where you can ask for directions but can't access the store's backend. Here, you might host your e-commerce platform but keep sensitive data out. Middle tier. Think of this as the security checkpoint. It's where we check all traffic going between public-facing services and internal systems. In our example, it's like a security guard checking IDs before letting someone into the staff-only areas. A reverse proxy might live here, inspecting all communications. It's like having a bouncer at a club who makes sure everyone inside is supposed to be there. This tier could include application servers that process data but need to interact with both the DMZ and private network. Private tier, this is the core of your network, like the mall's secure areas where only staff can enter. Here we keep our most critical data, ensuring no direct internet access, thus reducing the risk of external threats. Picture this as the manager's office, where only key personnel have access and sensitive documents are kept safe. This is where you'd find your databases, HR systems, or any other critical backend services. Now let's talk about firewalls. There are security cameras and guards. We place them between the internet and our network to screen all incoming traffic. This is like setting up metal detectors at the mall entrance. Firewalls here would block suspicious incoming connections. Firewalls also sit between our semi-public and private networks, ensuring only authorized data gets through. This is akin to having locked doors between the public area and the VIP rooms. They'd control what kind of traffic can move from your website to your internal systems. They're also at tier boundaries, controlling what data can move between different levels of trust. It's like having different access codes for different parts of the mall, ensuring only the right people or data can move from one area to another. Here are our 3 golden rules for this tiered setup. Any system open to the internet should be in the DMZ and not contain sensitive data. It's like having only promotional materials at the mall entrance, not the cache. For example, your public-facing website should never store customer credit card information directly, but only use token systems or references. Systems with sensitive data must be in the private network, inaccessible from the internet. Imagine your cash registers are in a locked room, only staff can enter. The database containing all customer details would never be connected directly to the internet, reducing the risk of direct attack. Communication between the DMZ and internal network must pass through the middle tier. If your website needs to update with new book data, it goes through this security checkpoint, not directly from the outside world. This is like sending a memo through the HR department before it reaches the executive suite, ensuring all communications are scrutinized for safety. To enforce these rules, we use router ACLs. They're like VIP lists, allowing only specific traffic through. For instance, only allowing web traffic to your online store, but blocking everything else. This means only HTTP/HTTPS traffic would be allowed, and anything else would be denied. Firewalls. These act as our bouncers, checking every packet of data. Imagine if they're checking for contraband or ensuring only authorized personnel enter restricted areas. They can be configured to inspect, block, or allow traffic based on complex rules. VLANs, like creating separate wings in our mall where each has its own security protocol. You might have one VLAN for your sales team and another for your accounting department, ensuring they don't mingle unnecessarily. This prevents someone on the sales VLAN from accessing the accounting VLAN, even if they're on the same physical network. Remember, this is a simplified model. Every organization might need to adjust this based on their specific needs. But the core idea is to make it as complex as possible for attackers to reach your valuable assets, much like making it hard for someone to rob a bank in the middle of a busy mall. For example, in a hospital setting, you might have public tier for visitor Wi-Fi, where patients and guests can access the internet or informational kiosks. Semi-public, DMZ, tier for patient portals, where individuals can log in to see their health records or book appointments, but no actual medical data is stored here. Middle tier for medical devices that need to communicate with patient records, like an MRI machine that sends data to a server for analysis before it reaches the doctor's console. Private tier, where all patient data, medical histories, and sensitive research are kept, accessible only by medical staff with the right credentials. This layered approach also helps in managing the network's growth. As your organization expands, you can add new floors or wings to your network, each with its tailored security setup. For instance, if you're adding a new department, you might set up a new VLAN with specific access rights, ensuring that the new team can only access what they need for their work. But remember, tiered architecture isn't just about technology, it's about strategy. Regular audits. You need to check that these tiers are working as intended. It's like doing a fire drill in the mall to make sure everyone knows how to evacuate safely. User training. Employees need to understand why they can't just plug in a new device wherever they want or why they can't access every part of the network. It's about creating a culture of security awareness. Dynamic security policies. As threats evolve, so should your security. If a new type of cyber attack emerges, you might need to update how traffic moves between tiers or strengthen your firewalls. Redundancy. Having backup systems or fail-safes for each tier ensures that if one part of your network is compromised, you don't lose everything. It's like having extra exits in our mall analogy. Monitoring. Constant surveillance of network activity can help detect when someone tries to move through the wrong tier or when unusual traffic patterns suggest an attack. It's like having CCTV in the mall to watch for suspicious behavior. Now let's think about how this can be applied in different scenarios. In a school, you might segment the network so students can only access educational resources, teachers have access to grading systems, and administration can manage student records all on different tiers. For a tech company, you might have developers work on apps in a semi-public tier, but the actual code repository or customer data would be on a private tier, only accessible through secure connections. In retail, the point-of-sale systems might be in the DMZ, interacting with customer credit card data through a secure payment gateway in the middle tier, while inventory and sales data reside in the private tier. By understanding and implementing tiered architecture, you're not just protecting your network, you're also making it more efficient and scalable. It's about ensuring that as your digital environment grows, it remains secure and manageable. So if you're intrigued by the idea of designing secure networks or just want to beef up your knowledge on cybersecurity, stick around. I've got more content coming that'll keep you engaged and informed. Whether you're a pro or just starting, we're in this together, making you an expert in cybersecurity one episode at a time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more cyber adventures. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and stay secure, my friends.